If you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code ATNIGHT to get 5% off your order. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night, your weekly Vanguard podcast who is somehow late to everything anyway. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And that's what happens when you release an episode once a week, everybody. Yeah. So if you remember from, I think, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, Boucher was like, hey, we're taking all Gablade and a bunch of other old strides, and we're doing something with them.
And they didn't tell us what then, right? They were just like, yeah, we're doing something.
We're doing something to that, and we're doing something to Thump clones, which were when that Vanguard name attacked, put it in soul, draw one, give it 5k. And then I had 10k shield, 5k power. They're like, we're doing something to that too. And we're like, ooh.
We could guess what that one was.
Yeah, more shield.
Like, Gablade, no idea.
Yeah. So they have shown us what it is. And why don't you does somebody want to explain what happened to Gablade?
Sure. So a couple different things happened to Gablade. You can. Sorry, 1 second.
It's okay. Is it too small? Do I need to zoom in? Or
no. So the first thing I'm let me find it myself because it's kind of not all in the same place, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically, they did a couple different things that, if you when you stride it, you can flip a card from your G zone face up if you didn't gain any gifts this duel. So the whole fight. Right? So if you rode something that wasn't a V unit, you get 2 imaginary gift force.
Yeah. And
then the original, like when its attack hits effect, even happens when it does not hit. So Gablade, in this case, at the end of battle, is always going to call something.
Mm-hmm.
Not on hit. Now, is this necessarily going to be... I think this could matter for some decks. But I think that's really the other thing that's changed. You stride like normal. If you didn't gain a gift, you can flip up a card in your G zone as a cost, which is really a benefit for most people.
It's got to be the same name, so it's
got to be the same name.
Yeah.
So you got to play 2 Gablade, whatever. So it eats up a couple spots in your G zone. Not a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get 2 imaginary gift force regardless of what your Vanguard is, which is not bad.
Yeah. So immediately after this came out, everybody lost their shit because it means all the old striders from back in the day now have a place again outside of Luard. Luard was doing fine on his own. But things like Blue Sky Knight Altmile, Gaia, the original Gaia, which Matt and I are happy about, Famous Professor Big Belly, Claret Sword, Gurgit, things like that, the original Darkface, now have the ability to turn on their GB2 abilities immediately, and also to do it during main phase.
I'm not quite sold on this aspect yet, because you still are dealing with the power scaling of like the old units, so you're still going to be like an 11k Vanguard.
Okay.
Which is, I think, something to consider.
Right. I think another thing that I'll get to that later, but people are just excited because all of these old cards like Vanquisher are things that you can use again. Like YellowcardTCG released a video today where they're like, all right, here's all the combos you can do with Vanquisher, with Alter Ego Messiah, with Victor, with Chronojet. That's the one that scares me the most. It's all the time leap stuff coming back. And the ability to speed to 2 gifts is a little scary. 2 itself, 2 markers, draw 2 cards, 2 force 2 markers on either side. You have crits incoming. Protect, not so much, but
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you're gaining 2 protect markers is certainly something, right?
Yeah,
We're
totally.
making an assumption that I think like people are assuming that like the other ones are going to be in a similar structure where they're all going to be kind of like flip up a card from your G zone face up, get 2 of your associated gift.
Yeah, because what
Didn't they say that all of them are getting like similar updates?
they released the list of like what they're going to do this to. So
Okay.
all of these,
With the same updates as Gablade, I see.
yeah. So
Mhm.
these are all the on-hit strides of every clan. Like whether it was in their TD when they first came out or the set they came out in. Miracle of Luna Square Clifford was in a Fighters Collection, which is the worst version of the on-hit, but it's still like these are all on hits for their respective clans.
Yeah, like as an example, I don't particularly see the Spike Brothers one being particularly useful because I don't really foresee a world in which you don't play V Rising.
Yeah,
The ability to get who already gives you 2 force gifts of both types.
Mm-hmm. And like Big Belly is another example of like you don't really need to do this because Big Belly gives an on hit to something, and then the stride would then just give an on hit to something, and I would rather just kill them. You know, that's not to say these are all like I'm just trying to point out that not all of this is going to be immediately broken. Another thing that people are afraid of is you can do this going first. You can stride and get 2 gifts going first, and going first was a big problem in this game where you had a like market advantage, and now that what
There are just whole cards on the ban, entire sections of the ban list that are designed to prevent you from striding going first.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So this means. Yeah. So I guess the bit here is that these cards do not require your opponent to be grade 3. They just require that you were on their specific Strider idiot. But this is a bit weird. And the way they get around having the V versions is that you can't get a gift. Well, I guess you can still stride on the V version, right? You just won't get the gifts because it's and.
Yeah.
I think you just can't activate the act ability at all because you got it. So then you like wouldn't be able to get anything.
If your Vanguard is grade 3. Oh, right, because it's the if you have not gained imaginary gift is at the start. Yeah. Sorry, I thought it was in the other order. So yeah, you have to be on either a D version of it if it exists, or the old one.
Yeah. So you're forced to be on that 11K base, which that's kind of ancillary, but it is something. You are forced to go into this one stride whose skill is on hit, do a thing, which now becomes end of attack, do a thing. That's it's a thing.
I think some of them were on attack anyway. Like maybe. A few of the on hits were on attack.
I know for the Tachi one where it's like retire and then it gives it red text.
Yes.
Yeah. Where it was on hit. And then for Great Nature it was like on hit, give a red text somewhere else. Like it wasn't really explosive. And I think some people are like, well, that's the balance then, right? Where you're forced to do kind of a meh thing. But the problem, I think, is that turning on GB2 immediately for some clans is gonna like they're not gonna care. They're just excited that they can go meld them into into
also,
TikTok.
like 2 gift markers is pretty big for some decks. Like I actually think Gablade with the old alt mile would be pretty powerful. Brave had a lot of combo extension tools that did not need a lot of counterblast either. Like you could
a lot of it was just tied to alt mile, like the name.
Yeah, and being in Brave, which a lot of them already make you like discard stuff. Like the V alt mile stuff revolved around you not having counterblast, so who cares if they damage deny you?
Yeah, I'm just kind of sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying like you could probably just make like 7-8 attacks going first with 2 force gifts.
Yeah, I think even with the force gifts, the power numbers aren't that impressive.
Another thing that people are pointing to it being like the balance is the name, right? Where you might have to split the ticket, as it were, with your Strider version and your V version of your Vanguard. Like, how do you do? Do you do 2-2? Do you do 3-1? What direction do you go in?
I think this is kind of a bad idea. I think you should just pick one and go in. I think like hoping you just draw the correct one for whatever you're doing is a little inconsistent.
Yeah, and
when it's much easier just to do the better one most of the time. And then...
you do have your stride fodder where it can go reveal a 3, grab your appropriate name.
That's true.
That's what people are hoping on, but I don't know if that's what is going to be the correct version. Some decks like Gurgit are just like, you know what? I think I would rather just have the 3 Strider because getting 2 Excel markers is all good with me. I have Percival. I can get more that way. And then it's fine. And versus maybe like, I don't know, Gaia, for example. Your V version didn't line up with Engorge or anything like that. So you can just go back to Gaia.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's great. And I think it's pretty neat. I do also think this will help fight the whole ride down scourge that everyone was so concerned about at the end of this last season.
Are you staring at the Tachi on hit right now?
What? Why?
Do you have it in front of you?
I'm just staring at the 3 of us into your eyes.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. I was just wondering if that actually had the engorge ability.
It does not.
Right.
You would.
It's also weird because it like gets a red text and
but because it doesn't have the literal engorge ability, a lot of Tachi cards will not work with it.
True.
Yeah, you'd have to build the deck differently, and then you would also need just rear guards with engorge, which there's good ones. You have the Sarko Blaze, right? Yellow guy.
I mean, you're not going to play Sarko Blaze.
I don't know.
What year is this? What year is this, Alice?
2016. Look, I'm just saying this has kind of turned the game on its head. This isn't coming out till July, by the way, for us in the West. And
it's not real till then. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so we have 5 months of us being like, "Ooh, I wonder what we're gonna do then."
I mean, people will be kind of like testing.
Yeah, I think people will figure it out pretty quickly. We'll see like how bad the early stride ends up being.
Does anyone report X Rogue even does?
Probably like gains power or something.
No, it's when it hits a Vanguard, if its power is 37 or greater, you draw a card, your opponent chooses a rear guard, retire it.
That's awful.
The best
like
part
isn't that just like worse title bore?
Not only that, it's ended going to be when at the end of battle, just draw a card, kill a rear guard. Mm-hmm. But like the worst part about this card is it does not have the burst ability. But it does have a power requirement.
No, title bore is like if on hit, third battle or more, draw 1, call a card from hand. That's actually like playable.
I actually just freaking hate how like some of these old on hit strides just lacking their keyword.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's real awkward. I do like that Tachi had it for some reason. Like Gaia just has engorge. Thanks.
Yeah, but like the strides.
Well, because some of them existed before the existence of keywords.
Right.
A lot of them did.
Which is kind of like awkward whenever like with the later support that kind of like requires their keyword. It's nice when their keyword just kind of doesn't care and you just like do stuff, but
okay, I'm definitely not playing Susano.
What does Susano even do?
I have it. I honestly do I even have
what's the OTT on hit?
On hit, look at top 2, 1 to hand, 1 to bottom. It's terrible.
Ew. Okay. That is real bad.
So many people are saying that OTT is like worth considering, and I'm like, have you read these cards?
Nah. But you get 2 protect gifts, you see.
Yeah, I think for a lot of the protect clans, they're just going to be like, I don't really care about that. I care about my GB2, and it better be
On
good.
stride.
Like
You know how
Darkface.
messed up you know how annoying it would have been if they gave it to like NoCL or something?
Yeah. I think Gabriel will have a pretty solid time turn on Broken Heart immediately. And then you still have the like anytime you rescue check or whatever, your front row gets 2k. Might have something to do there. Angel Feather players, shout out, please.
Who knows?
Susano is bad.
Yeah,
yeah.
Richard pointed out in the Nexus Tor Discord that you can combine it with Bruce support because his name is Bruce, which makes me laugh. But I know it's not probably the best thing, but like it's funny. Come on,
you're allowed to. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
You are allowed to do that, but like, how are you getting the final rush?
No, some of them aren't tied to Final Rush. The main thing he pointed out was where is this thing? Dang it. Where it was a triple R, it was a grade 3 that's like end of battle that it attacked if your Vanguard's name is Bruce. Dang it, come on. I hate having to wait for things to load. Magic of editing, I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, so the card's name is Diabolos Diver Julian. So auto on reader once per turn. When it attacks a Vanguard, Counterblast 1 gets 2k for each card in your damage zone. If you have a Vanguard with Bruce, Soul Charge 1 for every 2 cards in damage zone. Choose up to the same number of cards Soul Charged by this effect from your soul. Call them to open R. So you can call this off of the Bruce stride, assuming it works like it does with Gablade.
That here is a strategy.
Yeah, I'll link off to YellowcardTCG's video because it's just 4 clans, but it's a good indicator of what this could look like. Now, what I'm wondering is, like, what are we gonna do going second?
What do you mean? You're gonna stride first?
You're gonna die.
Are you? I don't think so.
Okay, I know you're just like being facetious and stuff, but for real.
I mean, it's not any more insane than what people are doing right now already.
What, with the ride down and everything, where you just go like Thavas into Lambros or whatever,
or any of the Bermuda shit.
Also, like some of these cards are just genuinely not good.
Yeah, I think some of these cards are just really bad. Like even with the changes, like just because like they force you to play things you probably don't want to, right?
Like, I don't like them. I don't like the first skill on principle of just like the sheer amount of acceleration, but like, I'm willing to acknowledge that like just because I don't like something on principle doesn't mean it's actually like broken until we find something that is broken.
One thing that does worry me, and let me read this again to make sure I'm not being insane. So, if you find a way to superior ride up to one of these idiots somehow, some way, you can just stride.
Yes.
Yep. It's not tied to like, if you're both at 3 or you started your turn on 3. It's just if you're at 3 and you have no gifts and that name, you can do the thing.
Now, I'm not sure that's possible for any of these, but something to consider.
So far as I can tell, no.
I don't think so.
Yet.
Well, we know the Shadow Paladin one's going to suck because it's going to be Claret Sword, right?
Yeah, you're stuck with Claret Sword. You're stuck with the original Vanquisher.
The original Vanquisher isn't that bad.
It's kind of whatever. It's play aroundable.
And OG Blade Master, oh god.
Yeah, OG Blade Master was pretty bad. I know in Vanquisher's case, there's like some spice where you go, you don't do it as your like acceleration thing. You do it as Stunverse into that because it's an axe stride as well.
Of course.
Which that was one of the things on Yellow Card's video.
I need to read a card real quick.
But again, also, this is just huge disclaimer. This is assuming it works the same way Gablade does. If they do it differently for the other ones, disregard this entire episode.
I would try.
I
I would
mean-
try. I would try Murakumo first
Oh,
and play
God.
original Yasuie.
Oh my god! I saw somebody on Twitter being like, "Oh man, I can play Yasuye." I'm like,
Because-
first off, who? What?
All right. Listen. You're getting 2 Excel gifts immediately, right?
Okay.
And then you could activate Yasue's stride skill on something. And
Mhm.
during your main phase, you get to call
Oh, so you can call something, then stride, then
'Cause
do
it's
the
an act.
shadow clone.
so you can actually use the stride skill, which no one has ever done before. And then the on hit stride is when it hits a vanguard, you call 2 units of the same name as that rear guard. You just call like a billion things that turn.
And you have the room to do it. Right?
Yes.
Where you got the 2.
It's not bad, I think. It's one of the first ones I would mess around with it because I like Yasui, especially the old one. And it kind of being an act makes the on hit actually something worth doing. Or the stride skill something worth doing. So with one counterblast, you're kind of generating a whole bunch of units for minimal cost, basically.
Yeah.
The only thing that worries me is, of course, power numbers because, it's
Being 11K.
But there might be a way to make stuff happen because you're calling 4 of the same unit.
Plus, if you're like going first, your opponent's probably like 9 or 10K anyways.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that's what I would try first because, first of all, I just like the cards, but also I think it has like there's something there.
I know that. So, Bushi noted that like if you have the older versions of the cards, you can just use them. If you have the on-hit strides or the striders, you are able to use them. They're like less than $1.
And for now.
Yeah. They're also being reprinted, but
yeah. I do think it'd be nice if for the next 6 months to a year at events they would let you trade them in, but I don't know if they're into that.
I don't have faith in Hero to do something
Yeah,
like
me
that.
neither. Nubatama was something that was brought to my attention. Gold Paladin too.
Yeah, I've been thinking about Nubatama anyways, but the original Shiranui was like
Kinda what?
okay.
On paper, I think it's because you could manipulate your hand size by doing main phase things.
Yeah.
And then go
I
from
think
there.
I need to remind myself what this fucking card does.
The Murakuma one might have some stuff though. Is what I'm just like eyeing. I think there's something there because that one already has good text on it.
Link Joker was brought up in the yellow card video. DIs, I don't think so.
Link Joker, I would consider because of the new like cards that are being introduced in the stride thing. I cannot word right now, but also like in general, Messiahs are like pretty good, and because their name is pretty generic, you can like interchange a lot of them.
Yeah. You also have the crest, so randomly you can have 13k base.
Good luck writing the grade 1.
Yeah, you better hope for that. I have the deck in premium. I'm getting the Messiah deck set just for buffs.
I was thinking about it because I was just gonna get the Messiah deck set for standard anyways.
But yeah, I think like the Protect clans have the least to gain in general.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Nubatama. I don't know if they can use the Protect gifts at all. Maybe I don't know if Protect 2 is something that's viable.
Maybe
unclear.
Because Shiranui just makes your opponent discard. It's like choose one of your opponent's rear guards, bind it face up, and then your opponent just discards the card.
Mm-hmm.
I know for Pale Moon, that's already seeing some spice. People are just going back to the old Harry. And like they're not bothering with the stage. They now have a consistent way to countercharge with Desire Doll. What's her face? The old PG. And so that was like Harry's main problem back in the day. So you just combine that with you now have 2 Excel markers, and then they have 2 G guards that can disrupt the opponent's board. I think Pale Moon will be in a fine spot after this.
Nubatama is worth considering because the stride was just on hit discard a card.
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. So Shiranui rips one from the stride skill, and then you're gonna get like 2 protect markers, which could be protect 2s, and then make your opponent discard a second card. And if you went
Okay.
first, they're like still on grade 2. And then you have like a whole bunch of really powerful domination cards for the next stride.
Not bad. Yeah, I think clans that want the high face-up cards and G-Zone count might have an easier time with this, too. Let's see. Gear Chronicle, again, something that was brought up in Yellow Card. That's the one that scares me the most.
Yeah, I mean, Gears is already really good.
Yeah. Grand Blue, I think Grand Blue is already fine on their own. Them and DIs, I think, have enough of an infrastructure where they would rather just...
And the Protect clans, too, right? Like, they're also, like, not really hurting for the gifts.
I feel like you could feasibly go back to the old Night Rose if you wanted to.
The milling 3 calling something back afterward wasn't real. Like, I would just rather...
Yeah, but you still have the GB2 skill.
That was the GB2 skill. The on-stride was Counterblast, call someone from drop, give it 2k.
Yeah,
which...
like, you have a lot better mill tools now, and then, like, being able to recycle what's-his-face. Like, I could see you just doing, like, old Grand Blue shenanigans.
The on-stride was, like, the worst use of a Counterblast on that deck.
Yeah, probably.
There was, like, 8,000 other things you could be Counterblasting for.
Yeah.
Bandit Rum is just on hit, calls someone from drop zone, gets 2k. I could see Bandit Rum being, like, an okay extension tool. Because, like, Grand Blue already just has a ton of cards that bill things, so just something to, like, either start a combo or extend a combo
I mean,
is,
also
like,
need to do it, like,
fine.
immediately, right? Which is
You can
also
just
nice.
do the boat.
Well, I mean, you could do this, like, on grade 3 turn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, going first.
Yeah, like,
Sure.
I think Grand Blue is versatile enough that you actually can just play the old Night Rose.
I think you have to think about... Sorry,
you can do like 3-1 or something. You can do that ticket split and then go, I'm going first. I'm going to use what's-his-face to like mill 2, grab it, and then just ride it first turn and go for it.
That's true.
Yeah, like, I think Grand Blue is versatile enough that they actually can just shove the old Night Rose in there. Like, do
maybe...
Bandit Rum if they want to, and otherwise you can just play the deck like normal.
Yeah, maybe maybe the split does have some merit there. I just think, like, I don't know.
What about
We're
Bermudas?
going second. I guess you would want to be on the bigger one.
Was this one just like on hit, put something back?
Wasn't it
Yeah,
like
but I
something,
think-
call something or something?
Who's the Bermuda Strider that they care about?
Loris.
Never
Loris.
mind. I'm out.
Yeah. There's one card from... Yeah, so it's just bounce call, and it gets 3k, and you have to play Loris.
Mm-hmm. That sounds not worth. There's a million other better things to do in that clan. And force gifts are basically free in Bermuda anyway. They hand them out like candy.
Yeah.
You actually just fall into like a billion force gifts.
I don't think this explicitly cares about harmony stuff, but like harmony stuff is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'm kind of coming around the split. I think it makes a lot of sense, yeah. But I think not every deck is going to actually care about this particular these strides in particular.
Yeah. Aquaforce with Tidal Bore and Thavas.
I don't remember what Tidal Board does. I assume it's on hit restand something.
It was on hit, draw a card, call a card from hand to rearguard circle.
Bizarre.
And then Thavas' stride skill was like Vanguard gets red text on 4th battle, pick 3 of the opponent's rear guards. They pick one of those.
Yeah. Thava seems like questionable.
I don't know. Commander Jaime seems fairly excited. But Stoicheia Showdown. First game is up on the channel. Next one is coming out tomorrow.
Oh.
Keep an eye out on Commander Jaime's channel for game 2.
Yeah, I think at least Spike Brothers is probably the best I can kind of speak to. And I think the going first option for Spike Brothers might be already better than this.
Mm-hmm.
So that I don't really think it's really worth considering going into like you're getting like 5 drive checks and like 3 Vanguard attacks and
yeah,
it's probably a little better than whatever you're doing on Flash Bruce. I would suspect.
Yeah, Mega Colony. I'm standing for this, but I don't even know if it's necessarily good. I just remember
It being
that GB2
specifically OG Darkface is quite nice.
Yeah,
It's not the best thing in the world, but it's like not nothing. And the
Yeah.
stride is basically just going to be like draw 3 cards.
Mhm.
It's going to be like, here's 2 protect gifts, draw an extra card, triple drive, enjoy.
Mhm.
Because everyone draws a card off that card.
Right.
Like you're always drawing.
Gray Nature, I already mentioned. It's Bunk, and then Neo Nectar. I have no freaking idea. I wish Gabe still played.
Asha was like Bloom stuff, so it was basically similar to Murakumo, where you're like cloning
Wish
your
you
cards.
had a rear guard, and now you can because it's main phase.
I think what sucks about the Neonectar one is it's only going to work with the original Asha, right?
Right.
Yes, not the one that people care.
So this one is on hit, choose a rear guard, search your deck for, so you clone a rear guard, and it gets 2k.
Mm.
Then you're going to get 2 force gifts.
Yeah, and then her ability was like on when you stride for Asha was when you stride you can like choose a rear guard, clone it, and then it gets 2k.
Okay.
So this is you would have to go back into like Bloom stuff for this.
So just to double check,
Mhm.
does it make all on hit effects? Oh no, just this unit.
Just theirs.
Yeah, this unit. It also says like this unit's original on hit, which is really funny for the Tachikaze one because it gains the red text.
So it doesn't actually give it anything. That is extra hilarious.
Yeah, unless they, like,
if it works that way. We don't know yet.
Assuming they don't change the wording to make it work properly, that would be really funny if they just didn't.
That's so funny. I really hope they don't change it. I think it would be a good bit.
Yeah,
it would.
But Gaia's GB2 is never really what's important.
No, it's not. That on stride skill is just fantastic, though.
What was Victon again?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a draw 2.
Call up to 2, pick 2 rear guards, up to 2 rear guards, and then give them when they die come back, which I cannot wait to use with the gauge callers. Because then you kill them, and then they call their gauge, and then you call them back, and then it's going to be a fun time. I think.
Nova Grappler is something.
Yeah, Nova Grappler again on the.
Is that the on hit restand a guy?
Yeah, on hit stand the guy gets 5k.
Yeah. And you're getting 2 Excel gifts immediately, but you have to be on an OG Victor.
Yeah. And OG Victor isn't terrible. Also, Sever Temper makes a comeback because his good skill was GB2, and now it's on.
But the original Victor doesn't have. Oh, I guess
When stride gives something red text when it attacks a Vanguard. Counterblast 1, choose another rear guard, stand in, it gets 5k, and it's a once per turn. Yeah, like Victor is fine.
Could you imagine if it didn't say original on hit? And Dimension Police could just keep spamming that stand trigger that gives on hit draw.
Oh my god.
That would be and then you just like restand with Laurel and attack again. Because it'll always hit.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be so cool. They should do it.
Also, the Heart Thump clones are draw triggers on damage.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure we were all good and done with that before moving
Oh
on.
yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Forgot we hadn't talked about those yet.
So some of these are good, some aren't. The going first thing is dubious. All right, the other thing, big thing, where the fuck is this? Is that So these new or the old Heart Thump clones now give plus 10k power when checked. They have 15k shield, and then when they have the additional effect that when they appear during the damage check, you draw one. So that's in addition to the Heart Thump effect. Like when your Vanguard attacks with this name, shove and slow.
Okay, so these are basically insane.
Yes.
So yeah, you're just playing these now. Congratulations.
Yeah, critical triggers that are also draws sometimes. That's totally balanced.
Although, yeah, so the trade-off here is I shouldn't say you're automatically playing these just because, like, and Tachi especially, like, Sila Magnum has plenty of strength in kind of the way you can turbo through your deck and kind of just, like, go infinite, basically. So, like, with 4 Excel circles, which is pretty easily to obtain in Tachikaze with Spino Driver, you can just end up with, like, 6 attacks of unbounded power. You know, for value. But like if you play that way, you're playing 4 heals, you're playing your draw PGs, you're playing your you're playing some Strider crits, your over trigger, and then now you have a choice between now you're kind of stuck on triggers, so like where do these fit in? And these are quite strong. So any deck that wasn't already playing some like effect stand is 100% playing these now.
Yeah.
Right.
They are tied to the either Strider names or that V name.
To eat, right? But not to draw.
Yeah,
not
the
to
draw is just like, I think like that alone is probably worth it. Like you're probably not using the actual heart thump effect that often.
And as we learned many times in G era, if your stride has the name, if for whatever reason your stride has the appropriate name, maybe that's good enough. But that might be if you care about the soul that they generate, that'll be more important. Which classically some decks have cared.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think they're quite good. And any deck that doesn't have like an effect stand or is already playing grade 1 PGs are going to kind of look that way.
Yep.
And I think some decks do play grade 1 PGs. So
typically when they do, it's either like they're all tied to each other. Like if you have another copy in drop zone, countercharge, or something like that, or they have it as a one of like Sanctitude, or
you could play the one in Tachi, like the Engorge one.
Yeah, or like a DPG, the Engorge one, something like that, where you do it as like a haha when they're like, all right, no zeros, and you're like, I have a grade 1 PG, or whatever.
Got him.
Yeah. But that's not always the case. So what? These are just an automatic 4 of for whatever clan you play. Forever?
I mean, I think you play as many of these as you can for sure.
Yeah.
As far as playing them over the Strider crits, that's going to depend a lot on how your deck is constructed. Just because you want to make sure you have a certain minimum number of ways to stride. Right. Just to make sure, especially that's your major game plan. So no, I think they're really good. I think the first part we could have guessed, where they're just adjusting the power and the power and shield. I think that part was pretty obvious that they were going to do that. The second part, where they gain and draw and damage, is quite insane to me. Not something I would have expected.
They're treated as 2 in 1, kind of.
Yeah. They're draw triggers and crit triggers in some sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a fan of these.
These are quite good.
Yeah.
These are quite good.
And I don't mean that in like, it's going to blow the game out of proportion. I think this is good also for defensive power creep, which
they should do more of.
I'm a fan. Yeah. Especially now that we are talking about, oh my God, another way for going first to be broken. This can be something that can help against that. It's not perfect by any means, but it's something. Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, like, I'll wait and see how like testing goes for people before I proclaim it's the end of the world. But like, on principle, I don't love it. In execution, I feel like enough of these are going to be bad that we probably don't care.
I hope that Markuma wins sweet.
I really think this is going to be immediately on Vanguard Twitter, people are like brewing up deck lists and stuff. I really think this is going to be the spring of deck brewing. And
yeah, I just hope like there's fruit at the end.
Yeah. Me too.
Like, I hope the fruit isn't poisonous.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting idea, but it's kind of and I like that it's attached to only the old ones. But because it's attached to the old ones, I think the split could be interesting. I think it's cool that kind of like you can now stride like the G mechanic is now much more available. Riding down is going to be a bit more dangerous now because your opponent can just still freely stride at you. And you can just you gain a crap ton of gifts along the way. I'm still not a huge fan of gifts. I think it's kind of a huge issue, but it's here to stay. So
yeah, I'm personally of the opinion that V has irreparably damaged the game, but I'm not going to get into that right now.
We've already had that episode.
Yeah. Also, whenever you get to that in History of Vanguard, it's going to be real fun.
I appreciate that they are specifically reviving the old grade 3 units. One of the criticisms I've had of Premium, and I don't remember if I vocalize this very often on the podcast, but, you know, a lot of these old cards, because of the power change and because of, like, V accelerating the game, and, you know, cards doing things on grade 3 again, that a lot of these older units have kind of become irrelevant, so this is an interesting way of addressing one of the problem. I think the other problem that I have with Premium right now is newer cards are not as relevant in the format because, like, the way D is designed is so very different from the way the game has been for a very long time, and they have not found a way to integrate those mechanics into Premium. You maybe arguably might not want to. We still haven't done that video about, like, if we should have ride lines and ride decks in Premium.
Yeah, I wanted to do it as like give it like a triangle meta episode or episodes plural.
Where you're telling me I'm gonna build one of these? All right.
Yeah, we got to build one of these and like try
Murakumo it is.
Go for it. I don't care.
I have to find these cards. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get them. So.
I still have the Brave deck you sold me like 6 years ago,
and I have it again.
No, like, I still have it in a shoebox somewhere. So, like, I can actually probably just make Brave with Gablade.
Mm-hmm. No, but I mean, like, I remade Brave again.
I lost all my Murakumo stuff, if you remember.
Because of the fire? Or...
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll see how far we can get. But I have many months, so hopefully we can get there.
Yeah. There's no rush on this, but yeah, for people who heard of this news and either started saying that it's the end of the world or are really excited, let us know.
Anyone saying it's the end of the world.
People are saying that people are saying it's the end of the world. People like to make up people to be mad at.
People are saying that people are saying that it's the okay.
People are making up people that are saying it's the end of the world. I think this is not that bad. I think this is not that bad.
I don't
dislike how the set is structured. I wish that were better. But
we don't know. It's not the 3 cards per set thing. I thought that was the festival collection.
Oh, that is the festival collection.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is something else.
No, 3 cards per set was this.
This is the VM premium. Yeah, this is the VM premium thing. Yeah, it's 3 cards per set with the 350 cards. Yeah,
that's bad.
I'm a bit frustrated in the execution of this. But and there's I think the idea is neat. I just think I just kind of feel maybe we should just throwing stuff at a wall. But hopefully this one is something that sticks.
Yeah. And guess we'll see what people are thinking. And what do you think, listener/viewer?
Which one's going to be the best?
Yeah, leave a like or a comment down below. Or if you're listening on Spotify, leave a review. Helps the show. Patreon.com/Nexus at night if you want to support us. We have a weekly bonus show every week. I know we missed it this week. I was out of town. And I put up the Stoichea Showdown thing.
That was a weird morning for me, by the way.
What?
You never told me.
Oh.
So I was sitting there, and like I just blanked. Like I was like on Sunday, I blanked out, and then I realized at like 3 p.m. like, oh shit, I missed recording. And then I look back at all the messages and I see nothing, and I'm like,
I didn't tell you guys like I'm out this weekend. I'm going to be in the middle of the wilderness. Okay.
Yeah, but you told us verbally, so it had completely escaped my brain.
That's the kicker. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. I should have put it.
No. Yeah. I was just like, I thought I missed it.
No, you didn't miss anything. But yeah, thanks to $10 patrons, Darren, Cole, Josh, Jeremy, GR, Ali. And we got merch, we got playmats. That's all in the description and/or show notes. Where can they find the rest of us?
You can find me on Twitter at Wiggums, 2Gs.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. I'm mostly just doing short-form comedy sketches about what it's like to be epileptic. Good stuff. And then, or my other podcast at Generation Dan on Twitter and Generation_Dan on Twitter. So thanks everybody for listening. And until next week, I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everyone.